Welcome to another team selection video ahead of Game Week 24, and we've got the Double Game Week 26 fixtures announced, so I'm going to be talking about that and how that affects our plans heading into 24 and beyond. And it's going to be very interesting to see because there should be different chip strategies in play. So let's get straight into the video. As I discussed in a previous video, I got 25 points in Game Week 23, so it was a very awful week, one of the worst I've had. But when you look at how many people had a bad week, in the grand scheme of things, it might not have been the worst week I've ever had, but at the same time, it's still a very bad week. I went down quite significantly, around 20-30,000 places, and this is the position I'm in. I've also got 2 knocks, as you can see, since the last time I talked about my team, with Rafinha and Calvert-Lewin being flagged, so that's not good at all, and I'm not really in a great position, to be honest, with double Everton. I also don't have that many players heading into 25 and 26, and I'll be talking about that very soon. And just in general, there's a few areas where I could definitely improve. Ramsdale has blanks in 25 and 27. So with any Arsenal players, I wouldn't be going out of my way to bring these players in, but it's just not really the ideal situation. And I still got Alonso, who I've wanted to get rid of for some time, and now might finally be the week where I do get rid of the Spaniard. Another main problem is not having Salah, and to be fair, Egypt have reached the African Cup of Nations final against Senegal, so he might miss Game Week 25 anyway, but from Game Week 26 onwards, I definitely want the Egyptian back. And there's also the fact that I have no premium midfielder like Son, who is now available once again, Kevin De Bruyne or Bruno Fernandes, who are all looking better options right now than Cristiano Ronaldo, who was probably one of the worst transfers I've made this season, because it also meant I went for him over Bruno Fernandes and what happened a few weeks ago. So yeah, there's quite a few things that are definitely not looking too good, but now we're going to be showing you how my team is lining up at the moment for Game Week 24, and then talking about Game Week 26, the fixtures we have there, and how that's going to affect all of my plans. As always, a massive shout out to all channel members, especially those in the Captain and Legend tier, so Yarang, Aranya and Rock and Roll. Thank you very much. There's going to be more UCL Fantasy and FPL videos coming out, and if you haven't already, smash the like button and subscribe if you're new around here. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. The links are in the description below, and the same goes for the Discord server, so check all of that out. And now looking at this team, like I said already, 2 flags. It's not looking too good there. I've also got a player over blank in Cucurella, or should I say 2 actually, with Marcos Alonso, and Livramento is now available, but he's facing Tottenham away, so I actually need to reinforce someone in that defensive position, because I've only got 2 really good options this week with Cancelo and Trent, and even beyond. As much as I do like Cucurella having a double game week in 25, Livramento, I would actually want to start him potentially from Game Week 27 onwards, not right now with those fixtures, and Alonso has quite a few blanks over the next couple of weeks. So I think Alonso going out is definitely a move I'm looking to make. It could be for a double game week player, or if not, just a solo one. Like Laporte, I keep talking about him. He could be the one coming in to replace Alonso. It seems like a sensible switch, but at the same time, I've only got 5 players in double game week 26, and I could look to improve that number. And the midfield's actually looking fairly strong, although if Rafinha does miss out and Gray isn't particularly the most reliable option, then it does look significantly worse than maybe it does right now. And then with Cristiano Ronaldo and Calvert-Lewin, it's not a bad forward line, but both of them have been underperforming, especially in the last few weeks. And I've got Dennis on the bench against West Ham, and remember, he's only going to serve his suspension in that second game of Game Week 23, which is yet to be played at the time of this recording. And Ramsdale is on my bench. I think I'm going to back Manchester United and De Gea because of the fixture. I think Wolves is going to be very tough for Arsenal. In terms of the captaincy, it's the same as what I talked about in previous videos. Cancelo right now is looking like the standout, but there's also Bowen, potentially even a Liverpool player as well. And if I do bring in Salah or another premium, then they could be the captain instead. Ronaldo away to Burnley isn't the worst, but I just don't trust United or Ronaldo enough to really do that. And the only player right now I'd look to captain from United is Bruno Fernandes or David De Gea in a double game week, for example. But yeah, looking at this team, it's not too bad, but at the same time, there's quite a lot of issues, and I think a wildcard could definitely sort it out. But speaking of a wildcard, let's now talk about Game Week 26, the fixtures, and also the different chip strategies at play. To summarise my own situation, in Double Game Week 25, I only have 2 players with a double in Cucurella and Ronaldo. In Game Week 26, I've got 2 Liverpool players in Jota and Trent. I've also got Dennis, Ramsdale and Rafinha. But if Rafinha's knock turns out to be more serious, then that could be a cause for concern, and I won't have even 5 double game week players. So I think with these transfers, I can look to maximise double game week 26, but there's different strategies in play here. But before we talk about the different chip strategies and what you can do in game week 26, 27, etc., etc. I think we should talk about the fixtures just to as a recap for any of you who might not be aware, or just to refresh in our memory. So Arsenal are facing Brentford at home and Wolves at home. That's a pretty decent double game week. I think that Brentford fixture is the standout. Wolves is a tough cookie, but I still think Arsenal could win and maybe even keep a clean sheet. Burnley face Brighton away and Tottenham at home. Palace face Chelsea at home and Watford away. Leeds face Man United at home and Liverpool away. Liverpool face Norwich and Leeds at home. I think that's the best set of double game week fixtures. So Salah triple captaincy will be a very popular option indeed. And any of you who do go without Salah in that week, that's going to be very, very tricky. What I would say though is that the Leeds fixture is only a few days before the Carabao Cup final, so there could be a bit of a rotation there for Liverpool. But with Salah, what you probably would expect is he won't start against Leicester in Game Week 24, and then after that he's going to start pretty much every single game, including the Carabao Cup final and both games in this double game week. He might get 60 minutes or just not the full 90, which is understandable, but I would expect him to start at least one of the games, and probably in all likelihood he's going to start both of them. And then Spurs are facing Man City away and Burnley away. Watford are facing Aston Villa away and Crystal Palace at home. And finally, Wolves are facing Leicester at home and Arsenal away. Now, what I would say is that there are a lot of options here, but there's not really a standout, if you know what I mean. You know, Liverpool are the ones that you want to triple up on, but then you also have to think about Game Week 27, which is the week straight after Game Week 26, where they actually blank. And I talked about Arsenal earlier. Yes, they have a double in 26, which is pretty decent, but they've got blanks in 25 and 27. So if you're looking to maybe triple up on Arsenal, just bear in mind in 25 and 27, as things stand, they're going to be blanking in those game weeks. So it's not really as enticing maybe as it does appear on paper. So I wouldn't go out of my way to get these Arsenal players. And another thing to note is that Conor Gallagher won't be playing against Chelsea because he's on loan from that club. So he's only going to be having one fixture in double game week 26, and that's against Watford. So bear that in mind, and that will be the second fixture against Watford away. So that gives him a single game week, but with Edouard, he will be having a double, and he is the standout right now from Crystal Palace. Those two are the best options overall. And now let's talk about the chip strategies before concluding this video. I've got three options in terms of the chip strategy, and I think it is quite general, so it can apply to a lot of teams. So there is the possibility of wildcarding in 24 or 25 and then bench boosting in 26. Now, there will be still other double game weeks, which could be even bigger than this one, probably much later on in the season, and that's where I'll be looking to use my bench boost. But to be fair, you can use the bench boost in any game week where your bench looks remotely decent, and as long as there's not really any postponements, you should be fine. Now, what is more likely for me is either free hitting in 26 or using the triple captaincy on Salah, but obviously I have to bring him back in order to achieve that, and I will be using Cristiano Ronaldo as the cash cow. Some people will be able to afford both of them or have a premium midfielder alongside Mohamed Salah, but I'm not really in that position just yet. I've got quite a lot of squad depth, but it hasn't really helped me out too much in recent weeks. But I think what I'm most likely going to do is triple captain Salah in 26, but I'm also open to the possibility of free hitting in 26. Now, I actually do like the idea of wildcarding even now in 24 or 25, but if you wildcard a little bit later, you will also be aware of the double game weeks later on in the season, as well as the blanks, and that will help you plan around those weeks and build the best team possible for the rest of the season. And right now, you could actually just get away with making some free transfers. A lot of you will be having 7+ players who have a double in 26, and you might not really need to use a wildcard as such, at least right now. And then you can maybe use free transfers up until Game Week 30, build a team specifically for Game Week 30 and the blanks there. A lot of those teams you probably don't want to have their assets for long term, so basically you're dead ending your team into Game Week 30 and then you wildcard out of it in Game Week 31. If you do have 2 free hits, then I think you are able to be a bit more flexible, but if you only have 1 free hit left, then you have to be a bit more careful whether you use it in 27, in 26, or maybe in Game Week 30. Now, the reason why I mentioned Game Week 27 is because Chelsea and Liverpool are going to be blanking because of the Carabao Cup final, and the same goes for their respective opponents. So you have to be very careful with that, and obviously that does include Arsenal, who I mentioned earlier. So there's different ways to go about it, and you could use the free hits even in other game weeks in the future. Could be a double, could be also a blank game week. There's going to be plenty more of those to come, especially in terms of the doubles, and the record number of postponements has facilitated this. So the possibilities of chip strategies are endless. A lot of people will be using a free hit in game week 26, 27 or 30, but at the same time a lot of people will be using the triple captaincy armband on Salah if they haven't used it already, and his effective ownership will probably be crazy. You don't want to be without the Egyptian in that week, and especially with those 2 games, you know, I don't think any team is going to have a better set of doubles this season. And also the fact that it's Liverpool facing 2 weak defensive teams, That could be, some big hauls there for the Liverpool players. But once again, it's a few days before the Carabao Cup final, so it's not always as easy as it seems initially. But the way I ranked them was pretty much for my team. Some of you actually might benefit more from using a wildcard and bench boosting in 26, and others will benefit more from using the free hit rather than using the triple captaincy. But what I'm looking to do is use free transfers, bolster my squad in terms of Double Gameweek 26 players, get Salah back in, but maybe not necessarily just yet. Maybe get him in ahead of Gameweek 25 or 26, and then use the triple captaincy on him, and then potentially use a free hit in Gameweek 27 and or Gameweek 30. So that's how I'm looking like at the moment. I'm still open to other ideas, so it's not all set in stone, but those are my initial plans after the Gameweek 26 fixtures were announced. And it's quite a big double game week, and at least we've got something to look forward to, because Gameweek 25 was fairly underwhelming. I've only got 2 players from Gameweek 25, but I don't think I'm going to be in a rush to get more of these players in. And if you are wildcarding, this does change things. In terms of the best wildcard team I made recently, quite a few of those positions would change. So maybe instead of David De Gea, you could go for Jose Sarr, or you could go for another defender instead of Luca Digne. That is completely up to you, and something which could look like the most practical solution one week could end up being something else entirely the following week. There's so many updates, so many things to keep on top of. But thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, smash the like button and subscribe if you're new around here. Let me know what you think of my team and my team's situation, and also about your own teams. I'll be curious to know, and others in the community can also help you. Thank you once again to all the channel members, and you can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram, as well as the Discord server. You can join there. All the links are in the description below and also on screen. Good luck with Gameweek 24 as well as the rest of Gameweek 23. We've still got one game there, believe it or not, and also the rest of the season. And yeah, the chip strategy should be much more open this time round, and it should be very interesting to see how things develop. Unfortunately, it's been very difficult to find time to record videos because there's been background noise throughout most of the day, but I'll try to sort that out very soon and get more videos and live streams out as possible. But enjoy the football as always, and I'll see you next time.